It was reported and confirmed by Tokyo Sports yesterday that after the Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito match at Castle Attack, Kota Ibushi will officially be mending both the IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight Championships into one grand title, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So, Kota Ibushi, let's run this back real quick. Kota Ibushi goes to Wrestle Kingdom and wins both championships. And he's talking about how, I want to merge the he says he wants to unify the championships. He made this very clear, probably even before he won the championships, that he wants to merge the two. He wins it at Wrestle Kingdom. Hoorah. Defends against Sonata. Goes up against Naito for the IC. After the match with Naito, he says, and I quote, let me not say I quote, I paraphrase, that he wants to keep the belts together. He wants to unify them, but he wants to keep the lineages separate. So basically, I don't want these championships to split up, but I want to keep them both around. This is what he said in the post-match interview. And then maybe like a few hours later, we hear that the championships are being combined. They're being unified. So why did Kota Ibushi straight up just say, I don't want these to be combined if they were going to be combined anyway? Now Kota Ibushi looks like a fucking liar. He looks like a liar. He looks like somebody who just completely shit on anything the fans wanted. Because the fans have been asking for the longest time to split these championships up. And then we go about them unifying them anyway. My first question is, why did they take so long to get to this point? If the end goal was always to keep these championships unified, why did you not do that after Naito won the championship at Wrestle Kingdom 14 against Okada? I mean, we had Naito as the champion. Evil beat him for both championships. Then Naito won it back. And then we got to Wrestle Kingdom where he lost them to Ibushi. And then they decided we're going to unify the championships. Why didn't you unify them the first time? They just prolonged it and teased us for no reason. It reminds me a lot of WWE in 2013. The Royal Rumble 2013 when John Cena was the World Heavyweight Champion and Randy Orton was the WWE Champion. And they faced off in a double championship match where Randy Orton emerged the double champion. And for months, they were displayed with the double championship together. Randy Orton was the double champion. He lost to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan had to relinquish it. John Cena then won the championships. And then he got squashed by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2014. And boom. Oh, wait a minute. Do I got that right? Do I got that whole timeline right? It was 2013 when I unified the championships. So wait a minute. Hold on. No. What? No. No, wait. Hold on. I'm trying to remember, what was the timeline in which the championships were unified? I feel like it was SummerSlam 2014 when they basically gave it a new championship design. Yes, it was SummerSlam 2014. So they kept the titles together, I think, for a year and a half. The same length as New Japan did. Which, I asked, why did they keep those championships together that entire time? I don't know. I do not know. But either way, much like WWE, they decided to wait 15 months to keep the championships together, only to say, hey, we're going to actually unify them. So, as I said on my YouTube channel, RIP the IC Championship, because it made no sense for this rematch to happen if they were just going to merge them inevitably. It made no sense for them to drag out the double championship aesthetic for 15 months. And it ultimately made no sense for Kota Ibushi to win both championships at Wrestle Kingdom if this is what we were going to lead to. Talk about the possibility of merging the championships. Then the day of the IC championship defense, they're like, no, never mind. Let me not stay on that too much. You guys can obviously tell it frustrated me. But Kota Ibushi's first defense as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion will take place at Sakura's Genesis, where he will challenge the New Japan Cup winner. Now at this time, Kota Ibushi will still be both the Heavyweight and IC Championship. He will defend both championships for a final time against El Desperado at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Anniversary Show this coming Thursday. Now, if El Desperado wins both championships, I'm I'm pretty much certain that they're going to still be unified. It's not like El Desperado will stop Ibushi or anything. It's still going to happen. But now El Desperado has a chance to be the final IC and heavyweight champion. Will he do it? We'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about something here. I received a comment on my YouTube channel from Rock Sauce. Big shout out to Rock Sauce on the YouTube channel. He brought up a very interesting point regarding my video. He said, and I quote, "I'm watching the video and reading the comments. Nobody is realizing it is now the world title. Just like AEW main belt being called the world title. Kenny versus Kota. I have commented on this like 10 of your last videos," which he practically did. And I responded, "I don't see the correlation, bud. I think that's two separate cases of world champion." Rock Sauce replied, "Kenny and Kota's careers are intertwined. There is not one without the other. They won tag teams, championships, I'm assuming he meant, for their respective promotions at the same time. They are now both world champions of the promotions at the same time. There is cross-promotion between AEW and New Japan. They are setting up Kenny and Kota for their Golden Lovers reunion, part 3, for the world champion versus world champion. The correlation is the belt is no longer IWGP heavyweight. It is now including world, which refers to the belt being recognized globally. For example, with AEW, AEW belt is called the AEW World Champion. Both AEW and NJPW are world belts, reflecting each other. The same way Kenny and Kota reflect each other, and that is why they unified the belts." You know, Rock Sauce, I think you have a very good analogy. However, I think that's a bit too deep, brother. I think you're looking into that a little too deep. As much as I love the Golden Lovers, you guys know I'm a big Golden Lovers fan. I love Kenny and Kota together. And I do agree with you. Their careers are very much intertwined with each other. However, Kenny Omega is in AEW and Kota Ibushi is in New Japan. Two completely separate companies. I understand there's a working relationship now, but they are two separate companies. Could there still be a room open for a champion versus championship match between Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi? Absolutely. Absolutely. The door is open. We're seeing Kota Ibushi possibly having the world championship. I mean, he will inevitably beat El Desperado. We see Kenny Omega as the world champion. Possibly he may be the world champion. I predict that he will be the world champion going into Double or Nothing. Could we possibly get Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi at Double or Nothing for the IWGP World Heavyweight and AEW World Championship? It's a far, far, far stretch, but it's possible. However, the way you described it almost seems like you're implying that the reason that they booked it this way is so that way they can build up to Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi, and that I do not agree with. I do not believe that New Japan's sole reason for booking this is to build up to Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi. That is not, they are not booking their company around AEW. That is not the reason why they're booking it that way. I think that they're booking this way because they inevitably just wanted to get rid of the IWGP IC Championship. For what reason, I don't know. But they want to have one main championship, as if they didn't have one main championship already. But now they have themselves a main world championship. I don't know. Mason Goldberg on Patreon, he asked a question. He said, "Since Ibushi retained the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, do you think that the title disappears for good?" Well, Mason Goldberg, it doesn't matter what I think, because it will. If so, do you think NJPW will come up with a replacement belt? They are getting a replacement belt at Sakura Genesis, but it is for the merging belts, not for the IC Championship. Also, in Ibushi's backstage comments, he mentioned he may want to take on the Junior Heavyweight Championship from Desperado as well, which he did allude to that. Do you think New Japan Pro Wrestling might try to make Kota seem like the belt collector of NJPW, so eventually we get Omega versus Ibushi feud? So, Rock Sauce and Mason Goldberg are kind of in sync with their last statements, but no, they did not say that Ibushi will be defending his championship and Despy will be defending his championship as well. I think it's just Ibushi defending the IC and heavyweight. Desperado is not defending the Junior Heavyweight Championship against Kota Ibushi, which I would have been down for if Despy was going to win it, but he won't. The Omega Ibushi feud in the near future is absolutely a possibility. Absolutely a possibility. The belt collector gimmick for Kota Ibushi, I don't think that's his gimmick. Will we see it in AEW? I'll say it again. It is a possibility, but I am not banking on it. I'm going to keep my wits about me, and I'm going to say it will not happen, and keep my expectations low, so that way when it does happen, I'm in complete utter shock. That's how I see it. But as far as the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship is concerned, with the IC Championship not being there anymore, the mid-card is basically almost dead now. There's no US Championship in New Japan. The only championship in New Japan that is the singles championship for the world title is the IWGP Heavyweight, World Heavyweight soon, and the Never Openweight. I said it on my stream and I'll say it again. They better treat that Never Openweight Championship like a prince. If the king is the World Heavyweight Champion, then the prince should be the Never Openweight Champion. And Hiroshi Tanahashi being the champion is a good start. It is a good start, but I want to see guys like Okada and Naito and Jay White go after the Never title. I want that title to mean something, too. Because if not, then fuck the mid-card, because the World Heavyweight Championship in New Japan has been consisted of 5 top guys, and I think it's always going to stay that way because you're not going to culturally change the product just for merging championships. If they do, I will be shocked, I'll be floored, I'll be excited for all the possibilities of seeing mid-carders go after the world title and possibly even win them, but I won't put it past them.